Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to cover the Dragonfly Alpha Cooking and Professional Specializations. This is coming from Wowhead Weekly Economy Wrap-up. So they are alpha testing it right now. So they're pulling their information directly from the test alpha, and it's pretty much Samadan that's covering it mostly because he's the one that's been writing the articles for the last few years. And sorry about that. And they're just a slew of information that has came out over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, and more to come. As today is Monday, so there should be a new alpha build tomorrow, where they're gonna, shift focus and priorities toward covering probably different professions. Because right now it's blacksmithing and it's alchemy, I believe, but they may switch that coming tomorrow to another two for us to focus on. But let's look at cooking, blacksmithing, and alchemy as they are today and what Samadan has to say about it. So that's on the stream. Okay. Hello and welcome to the 237th edition of Economy Weekly Wrap-up. Dragonflight continues to reveal more information around professions and gold making. In this latest development, we will take a look at cooking, along with a first glimpse at specializations in alchemy and blacksmithing. My name is Samadan. Samadan is a resident gold maker and YouTube creator. He's pretty good at making gold. He's got millions. And I'll be your guide through the world of gold making, as we will call it for sure. So, cooking, profession specialization, making gathering, of course, great again, and a little bit more reading. So, first, we're going to look at cooking. And I have not read this yet, so we're looking at it together for the first time. Excuse me. And so we get our first chance to take a look at cooking, and who else to help us but our dear friend Nomi. Funny story. I thought back in when Mr. Pandaria came out, when Nomi was very a kid, I thought it was a girl, and it didn't even occur to me that that NPC Nomi had a mustache. Like, no, he didn't have a mustache. He always used to say that I want a beard or blah 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 blah, and it didn't occur to me that, like, oh, that's a little boy. I always thought it was a girl because it kind of sounded like a girl. That's kind of funny. And there he is with his fire. What's that called? Lord of Flame. That's I forget the name of that. Ragnarok, maybe. Oh well. Okay. There's a lot of depth to cooking with 9 different meats, 6 fish, salt from mining, and a bunch of intermediate crafts within cooking itself. Maybe meat? Really? Duck meat, basilisk, mighty, salt, lava beetle, horns. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of cooking ingredients here. That's interesting. The recipes themselves have a decent amount of variety, and while there currently isn't any levels of item quality, maybe, possibly, sorry about that, yet there are a couple of finishing reagents that can be added. A knife to add to resourcefulness, and a salad on the side to increase multi-crafts, both of which are going to be essential in finding a way to make gold. Much like alchemy, cooking is going to be a game of maximum efficiency with the region-wide commodity market in order to make any gold. I agree, because cooking, like alchemy, those are consumables, and they're going to change the auction house probably next Tuesday. That's what I'm guessing. It should be dropping with season 4 to region-wide instead of server-wide. So there's going to be efficiency will be king there. Let's look at this picture here. Can I make that? Can I see all of that? Okay. So let me drop my UI here. So breakfast for Draconic Champion. This is an example recipe for 4 servings. Actual number of servings will vary based on the cooking skill. Okay. It's a snack apparently. We got ingredients, snacks, beverages, desserts, and meat meals as I can see so far. And using the best quality reagents option here. Finishing reagents. I wonder what I guess finishing reagent would be like salt and pepper or something of that nature. That's interesting. That's some depth there. So they're giving cooking a nice little makeover too. And we're looking at a simple fish meal, and we have oh, this is a finishing reagent. Okay, awesome. Precise is called impossibly sharp cutting knife. Precise cuts ensure perfect portions with nothing going to waste. Gain plus 15 resourcefulness to this recipe. That'll work because we will be needing that resourcefulness. Okay, what does Samadan have to say about that? What's also interesting here is that these recipes are for 4 servings. Right, I was just noticing that. But actual number will depend on cooking skill. Also, the equipment slots are now in the top right corner as opposed to their own half a tab, which is a shame as I think that would mean less unique looks to pursue and be another stat bonus tool. It was nice seeing the character in the window as you add equipment. I really do hope to see long and complex quests to obtain recipes from around the world, as there are only a few to be had initially from the trainer. I also hope to see some in-depth specializations a bit like we had in Pandaria to open up possibilities to add more to the profession and make it interesting. Now that he's mentioning Pandaria, now I remember Pandaria was quite a lot of depth. That was one of the last times I seen professions have any type of depth at all. Because with Pandaria, you could have a farm, and I played the farm quite a bit, and it was a real farm. Like you had to till the earth. You had to water the plants. You had to plant the seeds. You had to get rid of vermin and bugs, and you had to spray for that stuff. It was a, what do you call it? Farming simulation for sure. It was interesting. I wonder are they going to bring pieces of that back because that would be a welcome return to that. Profession specialization. The big aspect we have been eagerly awaiting, well, waiting on to see is profession specialization. And here we can see a taste of what's to come with blacksmithing and alchemy. Now, okay, so this is interesting. Blacksmithing so far, as of currently, has 4 different specializations: armor smithing, weapon smithing, specialty smithing, and anvil smithing. Anvil smithing, I really wish I had access to beta because I would go over each single point here with the skill points. But what I can tell you from what I've seen from an alpha video, it may have been Hazel Nutty Games. Is that, matter of fact? Let's scroll to another picture. Matter of fact, we're gonna skip ahead because okay, here's one. I did see this weaponsmithing before. Now you see the main path, and then it branches off into one, two, three, four, five, six. So those are probably the 6 different weapon types. Now each of these weapon types, as I had seen before, had approximately like 30 points per weapon type. So with that, you could be an expert in like two-handers or daggers or swords or something of that nature. It's quite a bit of depth. I was wondering if it was too much. I'll come back to that point in a sec. Why I was wondering that. Like for blacksmithing, like I did see the video. I got, if you can see my mouse here. Can you see my mouse in the? Oh, my mouse is not showing. Why is it not showing? It shows. I don't know how to fix that. But in the meantime, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. I guess there are 9 armor slots, and there's a specialization for each armor slot. In my head, I was wondering if the specializations were going to be, of course, they have this depth now, but I thought it was going to be more general, like armor smithing. You pick that specialization, then you're just great at making all armors. But as it is right now, there's armor smithing specialization, and then there's specialization within the specialization with the points. Now, I wonder if this are these points, as I was looking at a video, the 30 points per armor slot, is that going to happen quickly or over the course of the expansion pack? The pacing of it will really be key here, and that's for armor smithing. And looking at weaponsmithing, it's a similar situation here. Now, specialty smithing, that was the one I did not see. but there's definitely a lot of choice here, as Samadan says. As you then select one specialization, you are limited as when you can unlock the next, requiring a bit of thought in your path to mastery. I was wondering about that as well. I'm pretty sure that somewhere, maybe even Blizzard will make a specialization talent tree calculator, which would be extremely useful. If Blizzard doesn't make it, I'm pretty sure Wowhead or Icy Veins or some website will make one. See, looking at this message, learn armor smithing. Are you sure you would like to learn the armor smithing specialization? You are able to choose additional specializations upon advancing further in the Dragon Isles blacksmithing profession. I wonder, does this message also mean, because it's not stated, I'm just guessing, like, would it also say, like, once you pick armor smithing, you can't switch to another specialization unless you reset what you already have? Just to be clear to someone that's clicking yes, like, hey, you got to kind of start over if you switch from armor smithing to weapon smithing or something like that. Just to be clear to the user. Okay. The ability to specialize unlocks at skill level 25, and the rate at which you obtain knowledge points remains to be seen. I had just kind of said that. Alchemy has a similar set of trees. And then we have alchemical theory, file mastery, and potion mastery. We got a tree here, 50 in the main, and the branching have various levels of skill points that they actually put into them, which is it's kind of hard for me to go over that as I need to have a live calculator. But we can look at the screenshots here. This looks to be a really promising system, the depths of which we are only beginning to be able to appreciate. Kraken Latte has a video going through her thoughts on specialization. Kraken Latte probably has access to the alpha. Okay. Already at this early stage with only a few professions, we can see so much depth and possibility adding to the way players can engage fully in a system as an alternative way to play the game. Whether there will be lots of gold to be made remains to be seen. I suspect the path for casual gold maker is going to be much more competitive, and those who fully immerse themselves in the system will benefit the most. That seems about right. Yeah, that seems about right. I'll go back and show you that screenshot where I'll give you another. Matter of fact, I'll go back and look now because a casual goal maker or someone that's casually doing professions, looking at okay, cooking. Like they're just going to learn these at their base, right? They're probably not going to like once they'll probably be satisfied with just learning how to make, salt baked fish cake or make their stat food for their particular class or for the class for their guild or their friends. They may not dive in deep into excuse me, crafting to make um to make a specialization because they may not just need it. So, but if they're casual about professions, it may be a little bit more difficult to make gold, as this is quite in depth so far, especially for World of Warcraft. It's not as in depth as a Star Wars Galaxy or a Final Fantasy, but you should get the idea what I mean there a little bit if you played those games. I played Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy. I didn't get to the crafting part. I almost got there, but it had quite a bit of depth, especially with stat allocation, which we have a little bit in WoW, which is fine. Every game is different, but yeah. And then Mantheus, I'm sorry, posted about gathering in Dragonfly Alpha. Should it become secondary professions, much like cooking and fishing? That's an interesting thought. So basically saying that should everyone be able to gather? Well, people that have the profession gathering probably won't like that because um that means the prices will be lower for them. Oh, I'm sorry, Vader Run. I did not. I'm sorry about that. I missed the. I took it down my overlay, so I didn't see you post there. Vader Run says Star Wars Galaxy looked really cool. Yeah, it did look cool, and I talked to another Twitch streamer, and they were saying that they came from Star Wars Galaxy to World of Warcraft, and they were talking about the difference between the crafting, the professions there, and how Star Wars Galaxy had like infinitely so much more depth. They were just comparing and contrasting. Samadan also says, I think it's a reasonable premise. Perhaps now is the time. I'd also like to see the ability to forget secondary professions. It would be so much needed for my all the things collecting. Oh, okay. They're talking about removing secondary professions. Okay, like from your interface. I see what you're talking about because primary professions, you can forget them, boom, they're gone. But secondaries always stay there. It's just an option whether you learn them or not. Okay. And then it goes on with further reading, directing you to the Wild Economy subreddit, which everyone is very nice subreddit, and the Discord, which I like as well. So that's all for this little reading and my thoughts on this. I would give more. I would actually go into details of each specific specialization here and look at the point allocation. And what I can say is that this ring, this is the oh you can't see my mouse. That's right. Well, the ring over what I'm looking at now is weaponsmithing. The ring over to the right says weaponsmithing, and there's a ring with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points on it. Each point that you reach is a different bonus you get for each individual specialization circle you have here. So within that circle is how you build up those points. It was ranging from like 10 points to like 30 or 50 points or something like that that you could pour into each specialization within the specialization as far as I saw on an alpha video on YouTube. But yeah, this is definitely going towards such an interesting system. But that's all I have for that at the moment, and hopefully there will be maybe even this week. Hopefully there'll be a profession preview from Blizzard themselves that breaks down their philosophy, their thought process, and even more details moving forward. Hopefully they do it once a week on professions. They've been giving out little tidbits and snippets in written form and just giving more things to test in the alpha, which I don't have access to at this time. But yeah, that's all I got for today, and thanks for watching the vid. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Take care.